Hey, so the intro, shooting two different pistols, that's what we're talking about today. And I thought it'd be interesting to take a look and compare these two famous legendary pistols that are still very popular and in use today. That's the Glock 17 and the Beretta 92 FS. And spoiler alert, I like them both of these firearms a lot. So one versus the other and picking one over the other is going to be a challenging time. So both of these firearms are proven in a variety of situations, and their reliability proven as well through police forces, military forces, and civilian use as well. And also in addition, their popularity is gained through movies such as Lethal Weapon, Die Hard, Boondock Saints for the Beretta, to name a few, and for the Glock 17, John Wick Chapter 4, Die Hard 2, and Extraction 2, to name a few there. Start off with the Glock 17 here with just some general information. It originally came into existence in the early 80s. It was introduced in 1982, and in 1983, it was the pistol that was chosen for the Austrian army. In 1984, it was adopted for NATO. And there are currently 5 generations of the Glock 17, although I don't think the first Glock was called a Gen 1. Y'all can let me know in the comments below. However, the follow generations were so labeled 2, 3, 4, and 5, which is this one right here. Now, chambered in 9mm with the 17-round magazine capacity. It has a polymer lower with a metal upper with a tenifer finish on this. And then with the Glock Gen 5, this finish has improved somewhat as well. It has a 5.6 pound trigger pull. The weight empty is 24.97 ounces, and loaded it's 33.3 ounces. It has the Glock Safe Action System, which is safety for the trigger, the striker, and a drop safety. It's produced in Austria and also in the U.S. in Smyrna, Georgia. And if you're curious with any differences between these two locations, manufacturing locations, you can follow this link here. It'll be up here in the right-hand corner, and we'll discuss that in further detail. Now, some general information about the Beretta 92. The design, the 92 design, began back in 1975 and was originally manufactured in Italy, but now has locations in the United States, in the state of Tennessee, and then also factories in Finland, Spain, and Turkey. The United States military chose this firearm in 1984 to replace the 1911. It officially served through 2017 and has now been replaced with the SIG M17. The original finish is the Brunington and now can be found in the Inox edition with several aftermarket finishes as well. It has a 15-round magazine capacity chambered in 9mm. It has a safety decocker, and it's a double action, single action trigger system. It's a metal upper and a metal lower with plastic grips. The weight unloaded is 33.3 ounces, and if you remember on the Glock 17, which is very interesting, it's the same as the Glock 17 weight unloaded. So let's discuss some pros and cons between the two. And I think with both of these, as far as ease of disassembly and assembly, neither one of them is very difficult to do, and I don't think one is easier or more difficult compared to the other. And as far as difficulty repairing, I will say there is a difference in that. The Glock platform, the Glock 17, is very easy to work on. The Beretta 92, it's a little bit more challenging with a whole lot more pins and little intricate springs and everything within the gun itself. So how about the finish, the protective coating on both these firearms? I like them both. I'm no scientist or, guru on the stuff, but they both look fantastic. The finishing, I like them both. This Beretta I've had for quite a few years, and y'all can see some holster wear on this gun, but it's held up very nicely. This Glock 17 I just recently got, so it's still in a brand new condition. But I think both of them are very durable finish. So how about the trigger, right? Everybody talks about the trigger, a lot of bashing on the Glock trigger. I'm going to say with the Gen 5, this trigger feel is a whole lot nicer than the past generational models, but I've only messed with the Gen 4. Compared to the Gen 4, this Gen 5 is a whole lot better. I don't have a problem with the trigger on the Glock. The Beretta, the trigger on the Beretta on single action, I mean, it's nice and crisp. On double action, there is a long pull all the way back to that. If y'all can see that right there, there is. I mean, starting at the very beginning and all the way back, but on single action, it's just a little bit of a take up, and then it breaks pretty good. I don't mind the trigger on either one of these. Which one is better over the other? It's kind of a shooter preference kind of thing. double action. When you first employ this gun, it's going to be in a double action mode if you're pulling it out of your holster. And so you got that long trigger pull on it. Some people has problems with that, but if you train effectively, you shouldn't have any problems with that. Then it goes into single action. The Glock, I mean, there's nothing fancy about a Glock. It's a workhorse. But I don't have any problems with either one of those triggers. These triggers are fine for me. So how about sights? The sights, I don't have a problem, shooting these guns with the sights that come with it. The Glock, you got the polymer or the plastic sights. Just a very basic sight. They're not very durable. They're durable enough for my uses. I mean, I'm not going out there running through the woods and fighting wars and everything. So the standard sights on this Glock is fine for me. The Beretta sights, you got a fixed front sight. You can't change that. And then your rear sight here, you can drift it out, put a different sight on, or replaceable, but you can't change out the front. And it's got 3 white dots there, and you see on the Glock, you got kind of the field goal in the back sights on the white and the white on the front dot. I will say picking those up, seeing that the white dot on the Glock is easier to pick up than what is on the Beretta, but I can pick up these sights, at 12 yards and in, no problem whatsoever. So concealment, carrying these pistols for an everyday carry and you're trying to conceal it. These are both very large guns. You can see the Glock is the Beretta is just a little bit longer than the Glock there with barrel length and the slide. As far as the frame, and generally they're about the same size, a full size gun. So they're both going to have challenging to conceal them underneath your shirt, or however you carry it on your waistband or in your waistband. I carry paddle holsters like this right here for the Glock, and this one for the Beretta. I don't have any problem concealing. I don't have to really worry about if I do print because I live in a great state. But it is challenging because they're both just full size guns. So what about safeties on the gun? Definitely 2 different platforms, 2 different safety systems. So the Glock 17, you got 3 built-in internal safeties. Well, 2 internal safeties, and then you got the safe action trigger here. No manual safety, right? On the Beretta, you do have a manual safety, and this manual safety acts as a decocker as well. So up, you can see the red dot, that is ready to fire. You pull it down, that is on safe, makes it inoperable to action the gun, to fire the gun. And this safety also acts as a decocker. So if the hammer is back, you can pull down the safety, decock the gun and place it on safe as well. And a hammer falling like that does not fire the gun when you manipulate the safety decocker. So there is a big difference there with the safeties. I think both of these are very safe, reliable pistols. And, I came up with the Beretta. I've had this Beretta for a while, and I was used to the manual safety on this, especially like on a 1911 platform as well. And it took me a long time to, basically develop trust in a Glock platform with no safeties, a striker fired with no safeties on there, because I just didn't know. And once I found out about it and knew the safe systems that was in there and how safe they were, I have no problem not having a manual safety, but I'm not against a manual safety as well, like you find on the Beretta. So ease of shooting and accuracy with both these firearm platforms, the Beretta and the Glock. And I'm combining those 2. Accuracy on both of these guns are fine. If there's any inaccuracies, I've said numerous times, it's not the gun platform, it is the shooter, me. I will say that I can shoot both of these decent. I'm not a professional shooter. Obviously, y'all can figure that out by now if y'all watched any of my videos. But I'm going to tell you, the Beretta, I seem to shoot this one with a little bit more ease than actually the Glock. And I tell you, I'm a big fan of both these platforms. And I'm not bashing the Glock because I love the Glock 17. And I love the Beretta. But I'm going to tell you, shooting it seemed like I could shoot the Beretta with a little bit more comfort. Now I will say it's challenging on that first draw of that double action, and then after that single action, man, just really nice and comfortable and quick and accurate. The double action, you do got to train for it, that very first. And then with the Glock, you get the same pull every single time. So that's what makes the Glock just such a ease, pleasure, to shoot it and be accurate with it, because it's the same exact trigger pull each and every time versus you got a couple different trigger pulls on the Beretta. So ease of shooting, both of these are very easy to shoot, but I got to say the Beretta was feels more comfortable in my hand shooting than the Glock. And then plus it's a, you know, it's a heavier gun than the Glock, just by a few ounces, and that makes a difference. And so maybe that aids in the comfort and the recoil and all that kind of stuff. And then the accuracy is probably about the same on there, with my abilities anyway. So with all these differences, the pros and cons of each of these, and comparing them to side by side, which will I choose? Oof. Well, which one? Well, I don't want to make one jealous or envious of the other, so I can't just pick one, and which is why I own them both. Which would you pick, the Glock 17 or the Beretta 92? Hey, hope you enjoyed the video. Be ready, be prepared, be your own 911. Stay safe, and God bless y'all.